Welcome back to Healing Fibromyalgia's YouTube channel. I'm Paula. Thank you so much for joining me again, as always, talking about healing fibromyalgia, the things that you can do to alleviate some of your symptoms and improve the quality of your life, because fibromyalgia is a really, really rough ride, and anything that we can do and share along the way to try and help manage your symptoms should hopefully give you some relief. So today I want to talk about the pain management clinic. I've got a TikTok. I'm making videos on TikTok every single day, but I quite often see comments about my doctor has only offered me an appointment with a pain management clinic, and people seem really deflated about that, and I also was you. So about 4 years ago I saw my doctor, and my doctor referred me on to the pain management clinic. I went to go and see them because I was expecting to walk through the door and they were going to go, no, this is what we're going to do and you're not going to have any pain and it's going to be amazing. And then they sat me down and they started talking about my pain and how I felt about my pain, and advised that I was going to have a course of CBT therapy. And I was really upset at that because it was so out of what I expected to happen in that appointment. I thought we were going to have some real tangible solutions in terms of medications and a plan. And what I actually got was the offer of talking about how I felt. And I didn't understand why that was so important. And nobody explained the benefits to me of that. So in not understanding the benefits to that, I was really negative about it. I was really down. I was really deflated. I thought, oh, I don't even know what the point of me going is. I did go, but surprise, surprise, I didn't really get any of the benefits out of it because I didn't understand why I was there. I didn't understand why it was important, because I was experiencing physical pain in my body, and they're telling me that I needed to talk about it and to understand how the pain is emotionally affecting me. And I was just a bit like, you're just talking rubbish. This is ridiculous. So if you're in that situation and you feel like that, let's talk about why you should go to the pain clinic, why you should be really happy if your GP is referring you to the pain clinic, and what the benefits are for you and your symptoms. So there's not loads of medications that we can take for fibromyalgia that have significant impacts in our symptoms. They may slightly minimise some of our pain, but long term they don't work. Long term we need more and more and more of these medications for the same effects to be felt. If you're taking things like duloxetine or pregabalin, you will have had that conversation with your doctor about increasing the amount you're taking, because actually, as time goes on, our body gets used to taking it and then we don't see the same amount of effects. So we have to take more and more and more and more. Long term, that is not a treatment plan. Also, the opioids will give some relief to start with, but the truth is we shouldn't be taking opioids for any kind of length of time anyway. And also, by the time I kind of got 5 years into my fibro and it was really bad, I couldn't walk without a walking stick, even in the house. I was so fatigued, I would spend weeks and weeks and weeks in bed, and my brain didn't work at all. And even at those points when my pain was significant, probably 8, 9 and 10 on the pain scale, the opioids were not bringing my pain down. I was just getting an awful lot of side effects from taking them without the benefit and the benefit of reducing the pain in the first place. So again, there was no long-term solution for that. What I didn't understand at the time was actually fibromyalgia is the result of an overwhelmed nervous system. My nervous system was so stressed out from how I was physically treating my body, how I was causing physical pain in my body by making my body work too hard, and also carrying all the emotional attachments that I had. So I'd got trauma that I hadn't worked through, which if anybody knows anything about trauma, you will know that in your day-to-day normal life, you will just be going about your normal day and something will trigger those feelings that you felt back in that time when you were experiencing that trauma, and then you get pulled back into that emotional state of how you felt. So unresolved trauma can have an impact day to day on our lives, and emotional pain causes physical symptoms in our body. If you had a small child that was walking around and they were really, really stressed out and they were really upset, and they came to you saying that they had a tummy ache, you wouldn't necessarily be surprised. We just seem to have forgotten as adults that emotional pain causes physical symptoms. So trauma can be one of those things. It could be toxic relationships. It could be how you're allowing other people to treat you. It could be the stress of work. It could be you're completely overwhelmed by your children and your family. It could be how you're actually treating yourself and your perception of your own self-worth. Now, when we start talking about this emotional pain, that's where the pain clinic comes in, because there's a lot of acceptance that has to be worked through when you have a diagnosis of fibromyalgia. It's a diagnosis that isn't going anywhere. We have to go on a journey of healing to reduce the amount of symptoms and how they affect our journey on a day-to-day basis so that we can ultimately live our best lives. But if I went back to treating my body how I was treating it 18 months ago, I would be back in bed and my pain levels would be back really high again. So every day we have to make good decisions for ourselves. But what the pain management clinic will help you do is they'll help you understand how you physically feel about the pain and how it is emotionally affecting you, and the things that you can do to try and work through that period of almost grieving, because when you get a diagnosis of a chronic illness, it's not going anywhere. So you have to find some acceptance so that you don't carry that anger. It was one of the symptoms that I had. I was so upset and I was so angry with myself because I was experiencing all these symptoms and it was stopping me doing the things I wanted to do, that I made my physical symptoms worse because I was being so incredibly hard on myself, when actually it's nobody's fault if you've got fibromyalgia. This is just a result of an overwhelmed nervous system. But I didn't understand that at the time. So the pain clinic are there. They're there to look at all avenues of how you can help manage your pain. So they will look at probably your medications, make sure you're on the right things in the first place. But ultimately, everybody knows that there isn't a perfect solution when it comes to medications. A lot of us with fibromyalgia are really chemical sensitive. So actually, we don't really get the benefits of the medications like other people would anyway. So then they're going to look at what are the options for you. The CBT is a really good tool to help you start talking about your emotions and your emotional pain, because if fibromyalgia is making you feel really upset and you're really angry and you get super frustrated because you keep dropping things or walking into things, which was one of the things for me, how you reframe that in your mind and how you come to some peace with that will have an impact on your physical symptoms. So that's what they're there to help you do. They may also be able to signpost you then to further counselling if you need it. So if you have had significant emotional trauma in the past, there could be additional work that they can then signpost you towards to help you start working through this emotional pain. Your brain doesn't understand whether you have got physical pain or emotional pain. It just understands that you've got pain, and that pain is overwhelming to our nervous system. Our nervous system cannot cope with it, and every single bit of additional stress we put on our body is potentially going to overwhelm our nervous system to the point we end up with these pain and fatigue symptoms that we get with fibromyalgia. So in a nutshell, the pain management clinic is there, not necessarily to dish out a load of medications, which is what I thought, but it's there to start giving you the tools to help you manage your emotional pain and how you feel about your fibromyalgia, how you feel about your future with fibromyalgia, and the things that you can do to help you take positive, proactive steps in managing your symptoms. Because ultimately, the things that are going to make us feel better are not making our body physically work harder than it needs to, and also working through our emotional pain so we're not physically carrying that in our body. And if we can look at those two areas and we can start making changes, then ultimately our symptoms and how we feel on a day-to-day basis are going to feel better. So this is not a quick fix. It's not a quick process. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of effort. But you know what? It's worth it, because I couldn't walk 18 months ago. I couldn't work 18 months ago. And my life has done a complete 180. It's the reason why I'm sharing my journey with you guys, because I want you to be able to look at the things that I've done and apply them to your life and hopefully see improvements in your symptoms too. I'm going to keep making these videos, but guys, if you've got more questions about the pain management clinic or anything to do with fibromyalgia, get them in the comments. Please keep liking these videos. Please keep subscribing to my channel. Every time you subscribe and I make a video, you'll get an alert to say that I've made a video, so you'll be able to watch it. Please share it. There's loads of people out there that are really struggling with fibromyalgia as well. So thank you so much for your support. I'll see you on the next video.